authority, please, Kelly.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me? Yeah?
I can hear you. Check it out.
All right. All right. In the back, everyone.
Boom!
Shut up.
No, really, you guys shut up. Right,
No, seriously. Seriously.
Kelly, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, count it down with me. Kelly McNeezy with 30s in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Every single person I asked about being in their 30s versus their 20s had the same thing to say. Well, first of all, they sort of physically shuddered, remembering their 20s. And they said something like, yeah, well, I mean, I guess they were fun, but I would never go back. The worst relationships I had in my early 20s, the worst breakups, the worst stupid decisions. So fun times, right? So I'm going to do a quick inventory of these typical fun experiences that my own and others have had reported to me and chronicled as having been commonplace, typical, great, fun experiences that they had in their 20s. To start, 1, having sex with someone while someone else is sleeping in the same room, in a bed, just across the way, because not only do you have housemates, which means that you actually live in a house with different roommates, but you have roommates, which means that you share an actual bedroom with someone. So that's there. Or 2, being the person that's trying to sleep while the room that you're in is the roommate. Your roommate's trying to have sex with his or her girlfriend or boyfriend while you're in the room. Fun, right? Super fun times. 3, things like getting poison oak on your ass because you're so desperate for some private, sexy time. See, the aforementioned not having your own room. That you actually head out to like some shrubs or bushes and or whatever to maybe someone like your resident advisor, for example, and you end up outdoor with sex injuries and or rashes on your ass like poison oak. Let's see what else. And number 4, getting puked on / puking on other people. Doesn't happen in your 30s as much as it happens in your 20s. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Number 5, how about getting into serious relationships with people that you're way too good for? It doesn't happen as much in your 30s as much as it happens in your 20s. And what about things that you have to do when you're in 20s that you don't have to do in your 30s? For example, going to your hometown on breaks to celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving, and then you're so desperate to escape your parents' house that you end up the only person in local dive in your town, and you end up with an old jock foot player dude from your local high school who's now a cop. And he's telling you about how much money he makes or his car or whatever, and you feel so low, so bad, that you're actually considering getting drunk enough to consider going home with him in the backseat of his trooper. Yeah? And these are some other examples of shitty things that happen to you in your 20s, shitty decisions. You sort of go on taking ecstasy at a club where they're playing the worst electronica that you've ever heard. Just because you didn't have the balls to admit that you didn't want to, or you're trying to impress some shitty guy, so you end up in some shitty, crowded-ass club with some horrible boom, 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 boom. Sweating and hiding on the floor of the stall of a smoke-filled bathroom on the verge of a panic attack. Just having a ton of fun, right? Or you're dropping acid in Santa Cruz, and then one of your friends' nose rings gets caught on something. Or someone has an asthma attack and doesn't have their inhaler with them. And so you end up tripping balls in the back seat, just casually cruising down Highway 17, trying to find the closest hospital. And all the time, you swear that the road is turning into a river and you're all gonna drown. In your 20s, you know what is likely to happen to you? You're gonna overdraw your bank account. And you're gonna put in the bank, trying to get them to take the overdue fees off that just ate your entire minimum wage paycheck. Or you're gonna get strep throat, and you end up riding on your shitty bike down to the free clinic that doesn't open for another 3 hours because you don't have health insurance, and all the other people that are there are already in line. And then in the waiting room, there's all these other people. And then you get in the waiting room and it smells like balls and shit and bleach. And everyone's coughing on you. Happens in your 20s. In your 20s, you make really smart decisions like cliff jumping, for example. Just because you're still so afraid of what people might think of you that you'll do anything. So then you end up there with bruises and a jacked up shoulder and a sea enema. But see, that's the thing. You do. Because people say we're fearless in our 20s. I'm not even including, no way. But this behavior isn't about an absence of fear. It's about an absence of giving a shit about your life. We don't jump off treasure cliffs in our 30s, not because we're more afraid now, but because our lives are more rad, and because there's so much more rad shit that we don't want to fuck up or lose by trying to impress other people. So we don't feel the need to jump off a cliff, and that's the difference.
But you don't want to fuck up rad shit like when a 7-minute timer ends.